Good evening. Tonight we are reading Job 22 through 42. Tonight is night 37, 38. Tonight is night 38 of Read the Bible Live in 90 days. Like I said, do the New King James Version. We're reading the Bible live in 90 days. This update description real quick. Job 22 through 42. Just fix this a little better. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Like I said, today I'm reading Job 22 through 42. Finishing the book of Job today. And moving on. And then next week we'll be starting the book of Psalms. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, "Can a man be profitable to God?" Hold on a second. I forgot to turn my phone on to this room. Can a man be profitable to God? Though he who is wise may be profitable to himself. Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that you are righteous? Or is it a gain to him that you make your ways blameless? Is it because of your fear of him that he corrects you and enters into judgment with you? Is not your wickedness great and your iniquity without end? For you have taken pledges from your border or from your brother for no reason, and stripped the naked of their clothing, and have not given the weary water to drink. And you have withheld bread from the hungry, but the mighty man possessed the land, and the honorable may dwell in it. You have sent widows away empty, and strength of the fatherless was crushed. Therefore, snares all around you, and sudden fear troubles you, or darkness so that you cannot see, and an abundance of water covers you. Is not God in the height of heaven? And see the highest stars, how lofty they are, and you say, what does God know? Can he judge through the deep darkness? Thick clouds cover him, so he cannot see. He walks above the circles of heaven. Will you keep the old way which wicked men have trod, who were cut down before their time, whose foundations were swept away by a flood? They said to God, depart from us. What can the Almighty do to them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad, and the innocent laugh at them. Surely our adversaries are cut down, and the fire consumes their remnant. Now acquaint yourselves with him, and be at peace. Thereby good will come to you. Receive, please, instruction from his mouth, and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you will be built up. You will remove iniquity far from your tents. You will lay gold in the dust, and the gold of Ophir among the stones of brooks. Yes, the Almighty will be your gold and your precious silver. Then you will have your delight in the Almighty, and lift up your face to God. You will make your prayer to him, and he will hear you. You will pay your vows. You will also declare a thing, and it will be established for you. So light will shine on your ways. When they cast you down, and you say, exaltation will come, then he will save the humble person. He will deliver one who is innocent, not innocent. He will even deliver one who is not innocent. Yes, he will be delivered by the purity of your hands. Then Job answered and said, even today my complaint is bitter. My hand is listless because of my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come to his seat. I would present my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he contend with me in his great power? No, but he would take note of me. There the upright could reason with him, and I would be delivered forever from my judge. Look, I go forward, but he's not there, and backward I cannot perceive him. When he works on the left hand, I cannot behold him. When he turns to the right hand, I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot has held fast to his steps. I have kept his way and not turned aside. I have not departed from the commandment of his lips. Yet, I have treasured the words of his mouth more than necessary food. But he is unique, and who can make him change? And whatever his soul desires that he does, for he performs what is appointed for me. And may such things are with and many such things are with him. Therefore, I am terrified at his presence. When I consider this, I am afraid of him. For God made my heart weak, and the Almighty terrifies me. But I was not cut off from the presence of darkness, and he did not hide deep darkness from my face. Since times are not hidden from the Almighty, why do those who know him not see his days? Some remove landmarks. They seize flocks violently and feed on them. They drive away the donkey and the fatherless. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. They push the needy off the road. All the poor of the land are forced to hide. Indeed, like wild donkeys in the desert, they go out to their work, searching for food. The wilderness yields food for them and for their children. They gather their fodder in the field and glean in the vineyard of the wicked. They spend the night naked, without clothing, and no covering in the cold. Yet are wet with the showers of the mountains and huddle around the rock for the water of shelter. Some snatch the fatherless from the breast and take pledge from the poor. They cause the poor to go naked without clothing. They take away sheaves from the hungry. They press out oil within their walls and tread wine presses, yet suffer thirst. The dying groan in the city, and the souls of the wounded cry out. Yet God does not charge them with wrong. There are those who rebel against the light, and they do not know its ways, nor abide in its paths. Their murder arises with the light. He kills the poor and the needy. In the night, he is like a thief. The eye of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye will see me. And he disguises his face. In the dark, they break into houses, which they mark for themselves in the daytime. They do not know the light, for the morning is the same to them as the shadow of death. If someone recognized them, they are the terrors of the shadow of death. They should be swift on the face of the waters. Their portion should be cursed in the earth, that no one would turn into the way of their vineyards. As drought and heat consume the snow waters, so the grave consumes those who have sinned. The womb should forget him. The worms should feed sweetly on him. He should be remembered no more, and wickedness should be broken like a tree. For he preys on the barren who not bear, and does no good work, or does no good for the widow. But God draws the mighty away with his power. He raises up, but no man is sure of life. He gives them security, and they rely on it. Yet his eyes are on their ways, and they are exalted in a little while. They are gone and brought low, and they are taken out. They are taken out of the way like all others, and they dry out like the heads of grain. Now it is not so. Who will prove me a liar and make my speech worth nothing? Then Bildad and Shuhite answered him, said, Dominion and fear belongs to him. He makes peace in high places. Is there any number to his armies? Upon whom does his light not rise? How then can man be righteous before God? Or how can he be pure who is born of a woman? If even the moon does not shine and the stars are not pure in his sight, how much less man who is a maggot and a son of man who is a worm? But Job answered and said, How have you helped him who is without power? How have you saved the arm who has no strength? How have you counseled one who has no wisdom? How have you declared sound advice to many, to whom you have uttered words, and whose spirit came from you? The dead tremble, those under the waters, and those inhabiting them. Sheol is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up water in his thick clouds, yet the clouds are not broken under it. He covers the face of his throne and spreads his clouds over it. He draws a circular horizon on the face of the waters and a boundary of light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his understanding he breaks up the storm. By his spirit he adorned the heavens. His hands pierced the fleeing serpent. Indeed, they are mere edges of his ways. And how small a whisper we hear him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand? Moreover, Job continued his discourse and said, As God lives, who has taken away my justice, and the Almighty, who has made bitter my soul, as long as my breath is in me, and the breath of God in my nostrils, my lips will not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. Far be it from me that I should say you are right. Till I die, I will not put away my integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast and will not let go. My heart shall not reproach me as long as I live. May my enemy be like the wicked, and he who rises up against me like the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the hypocrite, though he gain much, if God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry when trouble comes upon him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty? Will he always call out on God? I will teach you about the hand of God. What is the Almighty? I will not conceal. Surely all of you have seen it. Why then do you behave with complete nonsense? This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors received by the Almighty. If his children are multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those who survive him shall be buried in death, and their widows shall not weep. Though he heaps up silver like dust and piles up clothing like clay, he may pile it up, but the just will wear it, and the innocent will divide the silver. He builds his house like a moth, like a booth which a watchman makes. The rich man will lie down, but not be gathered up. His eyes open, he is no more. Terror overtakes him like a flood. A tempest seals him away in the night. The east wind carries him away. He is gone. He is gone. It sweeps him out of his place. It hurls against him and does not spare. He flees desperately from its power. Men shall clap their hands at him, and shall hiss him out of his place. Surely there's a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted for ore. Man puts an end to darkness and searches every recess for ore in the darkness of the shadows of death. He breaks open a shaft away from the people, in places forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. As for the earth, from it comes bread, but underneath it is turned up by fire. Its stones are the source of sapphires. It contains gold dust, that path no bird knows, nor has the falcon's eye seen it. The proud lions have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. He puts his hand on the flint. He overturns the mountains at the roots. He cuts out channels of the rocks. His eyes see every precious thing. He dams up the streams from trickling. What is hidden, he brings forth to light. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, nor is it found in the land of the living. The deep says, "It's not me." The sea says, "It's not with me." It cannot be purchased by gold, nor can silver be weighed for its price. It cannot be valued in the gold or the Ophir, in precious onyx or sapphire. Neither gold nor crystal can equal it, nor can it be exchanged for jewelry or fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or quartz. For the price of wisdom is the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of the Ethiopia cannot equal it, nor can it be pure gold. From where does the wisdom come, and where is the place of understanding? It is hidden from the eyes of all the living, and concealed from the birds of the air. Destruction and death say, "We have heard a report about it with our ears." God understands its way, and he knows its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth and sees under the whole heavens, to establish a weight for the wind and apportion the waters by measure. When he's made a law for the rain and a path for the thunderbolt, then he saw wisdom and declared it and prepared it. Indeed, he searched it out. And to man he said, "Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." Job further continued his discourse and said, "Oh, that I were in months past, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness, just as the days of my prime. When the friendly counsel of God was over my tent, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and when the rock poured out its rivers of oil for me. When I went out to the gate by the city, when I took my seat in the open square, the young men saw me and hid. They aged arose, the aged arose and stood. The princes refrained from talking, and they put their hand on their mouth. The voice of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard, it blessed me, and when the eye saw, it approved me. Because I delivered the poor who cried out, the fatherless, the one who had no helper. The blessing of a perishing man came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My justice was like a robe and a turban. I was eyes to the blind, and I was feet to the lame. I was father to the poor. I searched out the case that I did not know. I broke the fangs of the wicked. I plucked the victim from his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest and multiply my days as the sand. My root is spread out to the waters, and the dew lies all night on my branch. My glory is fresh within me. My bow is renewed in my hand. Men listened to me and waited, and kept silence from my counsel. After my words they did not speak, and my speech settled them. My speech settled on them as dew. They waited for me as the rain. They opened their mouth wide as for the spring rain. If I mocked at them, they did not believe it. In the light of my countenance, they did not cast down. I chose the way for them and sat as chief. So I dwelt as a king in the army, as one who comforts mourners. But now they mocked at me, men younger than I, whose fathers I disdained to put with the dogs of my flock. Indeed, what profit is the strength of their hands to me? Their vigor has perished. They are gaunt from the want and famine, fleeing late to the wilderness and desolate waste, who pluck mallow by the bushes and broom tree roots for their food. They were driven out from among men. They shouted at them as at a thief. They had to live in the cliffs of the valleys, in a cave of the earth, in the rocks among the bushes. They brayed. Under the nettles they nestled. They were sons of fools, yes, sons of vile men. They were scourged from the land, and now I am their taunting song. Yes, I am their byword. They abhor me. They keep far from me. They do not hesitate to spit in my face, because he loosed my bowstring and afflicted me. They cast off my restraint before me. At my right hand, the rabble arises. They push away at my feet, and they raise against me their ways of destruction. They break up my path. They promote my calamity. They have no helper. They come as broad breakers. Under the ruinous storm, they roll along. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my honor as the wind, and their prosperity has passed like a cloud. And now my soul is poured out because of my plight. The days of affliction take hold of me. My bones are pierced in me at night. My gnawing pains take no rest. By great force, my garment is disfigured. It binds me about as the collar of my coat. He has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up and you regard me, but you have not become cruel to me. But you have become cruel to me. With the strength of your hand, you oppose me. You lift me up to the wind and cause me to ride on it. You spoil my success, for I know that you will bring death to me. For I know that you will bring me to death and to the house appointed for all living. Surely he would not stretch out his hand against his heap of ruins. If they cried out when he destroys it, have I not wept for him who was in trouble? Have I not has not my soul grieved for the poor? But when I looked for good, evil came to me. And when I waited for light, then came darkness. My heart is in turmoil and cannot rest. Days of affliction confront me. I go about mourning, but not in the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry out for help. I am a brother of jackals and a companion of ostriches. My skin grows black and falls from me. My bones burn with fever. My harp is tuned or turned to mourning, and my flute to the voice of those who weep. Come on, my mouse is stuck. Come on, little buddy. I have made covenant with my eyes. When then should I look upon a young woman? For love, and then just my steps. All I have walked with false foot has hastened to deceit. Let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. If my steps turn from the way, or my heart walked after my eyes, or if I have spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow and another eat. Let my harvest be rooted out. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind for another, and let others bow down over her. For that would be wickedness. Yes, it would be iniquity, deserving of judgment. For that would be a fire that consumes to destruction, and would root out all my increase. All I have despised the cause of my male or female servant. When they complained against me, what then shall I do when God rises up? When he punishes, sorry. How shall I answer him? He did not did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one fashion us in the womb? If I have kept the poor from their desire, or caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or eaten, thank you, my morsel by myself, so that the fatherless could not eat of it. But from my youth I reared him as a father, and from my mother's womb I guided the widow. If I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor man without covering, if his heart has not blessed me, oh, And if he was not warned with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, when I saw I had help in the gate, then my left arm fell, or then let my arm fall from my shoulder. Let my arm be torn from the socket. For destruction from God is a terror to me, and because his magnificence I cannot endure. If I made gold my hope, or said to find gold, you are my confidence. If I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, because my hand had gained much, if I had observed the sun when it shines, or the moon when moving brightness, so that my heart has been secretly enticed, and my mouth has kissed my hand, this also. Oops. Whoa. What's going on? Sorry, my mouse is flipping the thing all over. This also would be iniquity deserving of judgment. For I would have denied God who is above, if I had rejoiced at the destruction of him who hated me, or lifted myself up when evil found him. Indeed, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on his soul. If the men of my tent had not said, who is there that had not been satisfied with his meat? But no sojourners had to lodge in the streets, for I have opened my doors to travelers. If I have covered my transgression as Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, because I feared the great multitude and dreaded the contempt of families, so that I kept silence and did not go out of the door. Oh, that I had one to hear me. Here's my mark. Oh, that the Almighty would answer me, that my prosecutor had written a book. Surely I would carry it on my shoulder and bind it on me like a crown. I would declare to him the number of my steps. Like a prince, I would approach him. If my land cries out against me and my furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruit without money, or caused its owners to lose their life, then let the thistles grow instead of wheat, and weeds instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Let's see if I can get this mouse to start cooperating a little bit. So these three men ceased answering Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite of the family of Ram, was aroused against Job. His wrath was aroused because he justified himself rather than God. Also, his three friends, his wrath was aroused because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Now, because they were years older than he, Elihu had waited to speak to Job. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in his mouth of these three men, his wrath was aroused. So Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are very old. Therefore I was afraid, and dared not to declare my opinion to you. I said, age should speak, and a multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. Great men are not always wise, nor do aged always understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. I will also declare my opinion. Indeed, I have waited for your words. I have listened to your reasonings. While you searched out what to say, I paid close attention to you. And surely not one of you convinced Job or answered his words. Lest you say, we have found wisdom. God will vanquish him, not man. Now, he has not directed his words against me, so I will not answer him with your words. They are dismayed and answer no more. Words escaped them. But I have waited because they did not speak, because they stood and still answer me no more. I also will answer my part. I too will declare my opinion, for I am full of words. The spirit within me compels me. Indeed, my belly is like wine that has no vent. It is ready to burst like new wineskins. I will speak that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man. For I do not know how to flatter, else my maker would soon take me away. But please, Job, hear my speech and listen to all my words. Now I open my mouth, my tongue speaks in my mouth. My words come from the upright heart. My lips utter pure knowledge. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Truly, I am your spokesman before God. I have also been formed out of clay. Surely no fear of me will terrify you, nor will my hand be heavy on you. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the sound of your words, saying, I am pure, without transgression. I am innocent, and there is no iniquity within me. Yet he finds occasions against me. He counts me as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks. He watches all my paths. Look, in this you are not righteous. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. For God may speak in one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction. In order to turn man from his deeds and conceal pride from man, he keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed, and with strong pain in many of his bones. So his life abhors bread, and his life abhors bread, his soul succulent food. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out, which one were not seen. Yes, his soul draws near to the pit, and his life to the executioners. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, this is great. Then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be like a young child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. He will see his face with joy, for he restores to man his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned and perverted what was right, and it did not profit me. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold, God works all these things, twice, in fact, 3 times with a man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. Give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. For if you have anything to say, answer me. Speak. I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. Elihu further answered and said, hear my words, you wise men. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge. For the ear tests words as the palate tastes food. Let us choose justice for ourselves. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but God has taken away my justice. Should I lie concerning my right? My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks scorn like water, who goes in the company with the workers of iniquity, and walks with wicked men? For he has said, if it profits a man nothing, that he should delight in God. Therefore listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity. For he repays man according to his work, and makes man to find reward according to his way. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor the Almighty pervert justice, who gave him charge over the earth, or who appointed him over the whole world. If he should set his heart on it, he should gather to himself in his spirit and his breath. All flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to the sound of my words. Should one who hates justice govern? Will you condemn him who is most just? It is fitting to say to a king, you are worthless, and to the nobles, you are wicked. Yet he is not partial to princes, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor. For they are all the work of his hands. All the work of his hands. In a moment they die. In the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. There is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he need not further consider a man, then or that he should go before God in judgment. He breaks in pieces mighty men without an inquiry, and sets others in their place. Therefore he knows their works. He overthrows them in night, and they are crushed. He strikes them as wicked men, if in the open sights of others, because they turned back from him and would not consider any of his ways. So they caused the cry of the poor to come to him, for he hears the cry of the afflicted, and he gives quietness. Who, when he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him? Whether it's against a nation or a man alone, that the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to God, I have borne chastity, I will offend no more. Teach me what I do not see. I have done iniquity. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should he repay it according to your terms? Just because you disavow it, you must choose, and not I. Therefore, speak what you know. Men of understanding say to me, wise men who listen to me. Job speaks without knowledge. His words are without wisdom. Oh, that Job were tried to the utmost, because his answers are like those of a wicked man. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us, and he multiplies his words against God. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, do you think this is right? Do you say, my righteousness is more than God's? For you say, what advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than if I have sinned? I will answer you, and your companions with you. Look to the heavens and see. Behold the clouds. They are higher than you. If you sin, what do you accomplish against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects a man such as you, and your righteousness a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions, they cry out. They cry out for help because the arm of the mighty. But no one says, where is God my maker? Who gives songs in the night? Who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of heaven? There they cry out, but he does not answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not listen to empty talk, nor will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you do not see him, yet justice is before him, and you must wait for him. And now, because he has not punished in his anger, nor taken much notice of folly, therefore Job opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. Elihu also proceeded and said, bear with me a little, and I will show you that there are yet words to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch knowledge from afar. I will ascribe righteousness to my maker, for truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Behold, God is mighty and despises no one. He is mighty in strength of understanding, and he does not preserve the life of the wicked, but gives justice to the oppressed. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but they are on the throne of the kings, for he has seated them forever, and they are exalted. If they are bound in fetters, held on the cords of affliction, then he tells them their work and their transgressions, that they act defiantly. He also opens the ear of the ear to instruction, and commands that they turn from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they will die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart store up wrath. They do not cry for help when it binds them. They die in youth, and their life ends among the perverted persons. And he delivered the poor to their afflictions, and opens their ears in oppression. Indeed, he would have brought you out of your dire distress into a broad place where there is no restraint. What is set on your table would be full of riches. but you filled with judgment but you are filled with judgment due to the wicked judgment and justice take hold of you, because there is wrath. Beware lest he take you away with any one blow, for a large ransom would not help you avoid it. Will your riches or almighty forces keep you from distress? Do not desire the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, do not turn to iniquity, for you have chosen this rather than affliction. Behold, God is exalted by his power. Who teaches like him? Who has assigned him his way, or has said, you have done wrong? Remember to magnify his work, of which men have sung. Everyone sees it. Man looks on it from afar. Behold, God is great, and we do not know him. Nor can his number of his years be discovered, for he draws up drops of water, which distill as rain from midst. When the clouds drop down and pour abundantly on man, indeed, can anyone understand the spreading of clouds? The thunder from his canopy? Look, he scatters his light upon it and covers the depths of the sea. For these his judges, the people, he gives food in abundance. He covers his hands with lighting. He commands it to strike. His thunder declares it, and the cattle also concerning the rising storm. And this also my heart trembles. At this also my heart trembles and leaps from its place. Hear attentively the thunder of his voice and the rumbling that comes from his mouth. He sends it forth under the whole heaven, his lighting to the ends of the earth. After it, a voice roars. He thunders his majestic voice. He does not restrain them when his voice is heard. God thunders marvelously with his voice, and he does things which we cannot comprehend. He says to the snow, fall on the earth, likewise to the gentle rain and the heavy rain of his strength. He seals the hand of every man, that all men might know his work. And the beasts go into dens and remain in their lairs. For the chamber of the south comes the whirlwind, and the cold from the scattering winds of the north. By the breath of God, ice is given, and the broad waters are frozen. Also, with moisture, he saturates the thick clouds. He scatters bright clouds, and he swirls about, being turned by his guidance, that they do whatever he commands on the face of the whole earth. He causes it to come, whether for correction or for his land or for mercy. Listen to this, O Job, and stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Do you know when God dispatches them and causes the light of his cloud to shine? Do you know how the clouds are balanced? Those wondrous works of him who is perfect in knowledge. Why are your garments hot? When he quiets the earth and by his south wind, with him have you spread out. With him have you spread out the skies, strong as a cast metal mirror. Teach us what we should say to him, for we can prepare nothing because of the darkness. Should he be told that I wish to speak? If a man were to speak, surely he would be swallowed up. Even now, men cannot look at the light when it's bright in the skies, when the wind has passed and cleared them. He comes from the north as a golden splendor. With God is awesome majesty. As for the Almighty, we cannot find him. He is excellent in power, in judgment and abundant justice. He does not oppress. Therefore, men fear him. He shows no partiality to any who are wise of heart. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding, who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with doors? When it burst forth and issued from the womb? when I made the clouds in its garment, and thick darkness its swaddling band, when I fixed my limit for it and set bars and doors, when I said, this far you may come, but no further, and here your proud waves must stop? Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It takes on form like clay under a seal, and stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you entered the springs of the sea, or have you walked in the search of the depths? Have you the gates of death been revealed to you, or have you seen the doors of the shadow of death? Have you comprehended the breadth of the earth? Tell me, if you know all this, where is the way to the dwelling of the light? And darkness, where is its place? That you may take it to its territory, that you may know the path to its home. Do you know it? Because you were born then, or because the number of your days is great? Have you entered the treasuries of snow, or have you seen the treasury of hail, which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war? By what way is light diffused, or the east winds scatter over this earth? Who has divided a channel of the overflowing water, or a path for the thunderbolt, to cause it to rain on land where there is no one, a wilderness and there is no man, to satisfy the desolate waste, and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass? Has the rain a father? Or who has begotten the drops of dew, from whose womb comes the ice and the frost of heaven? Who gives it birth? The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the cluster of the Pleiades, or loose the belt of Orion? Can you bring out Mazzaroth on its season? Can you guide the great bear with its cubs? Do you know the ordinances of the heavens? Can you set their dominions over the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds, that an abundance of water may cover you? Can you send out lightnings that may go and say, here we are? Who can put wisdom in the mind, or who has given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds by wisdom, or who can pour out the bottles of or in their dens, or lurk in their lie and wait? Who provides when its young one cries to God, and wander about for lack of food? Do you know the time the wild mountain goats can bear young? Or can you mark when the deer gives birth? Can you number the months that they fulfill? Or do you know the time when they bear young? When they bear young, they bow down, they bring forth their young, they deliver their offspring. Their young ones are healthy, they grow strong with grain. They depart and do not return to them. Who set the wild donkey free? Who loosed the bonds of the onager? Whose home I have made the wilderness, and the barren land his dwelling. His scorns his tumult of the city. He does not heed the shouts of the driver. The range of the mountains in his pasture. He searches after every green thing. Will the wild ox be willing to serve you? Will he bed by your manger? Can you bind the wild ox in the furrow with ropes, or will he plow the valleys behind you? Will you trust him because his strength is great, or will you leave your labor to him? Will you trust him to bring home your grain and gather it to you for your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich have waved proudly, but her wings and pinions like the kindly storks. For she sheaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in dust. She forgets that foot may crush them, or a wild beast may break them. She treats her young harshly, as though were not hers. Her labor is in vain, without concern, because God deprived her wisdom and did not endow her with understanding. When she lifts herself on high, she scorns the horse and its rider. Have you given the horse strength? Have you clothed his neck with thunder? Can you frighten him like a locust? His majestic snorting strikes terror. His paws in the valley, and rejoices in strength. He gallops in the clash of arms. He mocks at fear. He's not frightened, nor does he turn back with the sword. The quiver rattles against him. the glittering spear and javelin. He devours the distance with fierceness and rage. Nor does he come to a halt because the trumpet has sounded. At the blast of the trumpet, he says, "Aha!" He smells the battle from afar, the thunder of captains shouting. Does the hawk fly by your wisdom and spread its wing toward the south? Does the eagle mount up at your command? Does it make its nest on high? On the rock it dwells and resides. On the crag of the rock in the stronghold, from there it spies out the prey. Its eyes observe from afar. Its young one sucks up blood. And where are the slain? And where the slain are, there it is. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall the one who contends with Almighty correct him? He who rebukes God, let him answer. Then Job answered and said, behold, I am vile. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will not answer. Yes, twice, but I will proceed no further. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you will answer me. Would you indeed annul my judgment? Would you condemn me that you may be justified? Have you an arm like God? Or can you thunder with a voice like his? Then adorn yourself with majesty and splendor. Array yourself with glory and beauty. Disperse the rage of your wrath. Look on everyone who is proud and humble him. Look on everyone who is proud and bring him low. Tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together. Bind their faces in hidden darkness. Then I will also confess to you that your own right hand can save you. Look now at Behemoth, which I made along with you. He eats grass like an ox. See now, his strength is in his hips, and his power is in his stomach muscles. He moves his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. His bones are like beams of bronze, his ribs like bars of iron. He is the first of the ways of God. Only he who has made him can bring near his sword. Surely the mountains yield food for him, and all the beasts of the field play there. He lies under the locust tree, in the covert of reeds and marsh. The lotus trees cover him with their shade. The willows by the brook surround him. Indeed, the river may rage, yet he is not disturbed. He is confident, though the Jordan gushes into his mouth, though he takes in his eyes, or one pierces his nose with a snare. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook, or snare his tongue with a line which you lower? Can you put reeds through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will he make supplication to you? Will he speak softly to you? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? Will you play with him as with a bird? Or will you leash him for your maidens? Will your companions make a banquet of him? Will they apportion him among the merchants? Can you fill his skin with harpoons, or his head with fishing spears? Lay your hand on him. Remember the battle. Never do it again. Indeed, any hope of overcoming him is false. Shall no one be overwhelmed at the sight of him? No one is so fierce that he would dare to stir him up. Who is able to stand against me? Who has preceded me that I should pay him? Everything under heaven is mine. I will not conceal his limbs. His mighty power is grateful proportions. Who can remove his outer coat? Who can approach him with a double bridle? Who can open the door of his face? When his terrible teeth all around, his rows of scales are his pride. Shut up tightly with a seal. One is so near another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together and cannot be parted. His sneezings flash forth fire. His eyes are like the eyelids of the mornings. Out of his mouth go burning lights. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke goes out of his nostrils, as from a boiling pot of burning rushes. His breath kindles coals, and a flame goes out of his mouth. Strength dwells in his neck, and sorrow dances before him. The folds of his flesh are joined together, and they are firm on him. I lost my place. And he cannot be moved. His heart is hard as stone, even as hard as the lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid because of the crashings they are beside themselves. Though the sword reaches him, it cannot avail, nor does spear, dart, or javelin. He regards iron as straw, and bronze as on rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones become like stubble to him. Darts are regarded as straw. He laughs at the threat of javelins. His undersides are sharp potsherds. He spreads pointed marks in the mire. He makes the deep boil like a pot. He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. He sheaves his, oh, I'm sorry, he sheaves. He leaves a shining wake behind him. One would think the deep had white hair. On earth there is nothing like him, which is made without fear. He beholds every high thing. He is the king over all the children of pride. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know you can do everything, and no purpose of yours can be withheld from you. You asked, who is the one who hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Listen, please, and let me speak. You said, I will question you and will answer me. I have heard you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes sees you. Therefore I abhor myself, and I repent in dust and ashes. So it was, after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is aroused against you and your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Now, therefore, take for yourselves 7 bulls and 7 rams. Go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For I will accept him, lest I deal with you according to your folly, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz and the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite and Zophar the Nemathite went and did as the Lord commanded them, and the Lord had accepted Job. And the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed before his friends. Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then all his brothers and all his sisters and all those who had been acquaintances before came to him, ate food with him in his house, and they consoled him and comforted him for all the adversity that the Lord had brought upon him. Each one gave him a piece of silver and each a ring of gold. Now the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than the beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of his first Jemimiah, the name of his second Keziah, the name of the third Karen Hapuk. In all the land there was found no women so beautiful as the daughters of Job, and the father gave them the inheritance among their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years and saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. So Job died old and full of his days. Man, all right. That's the book of Job. So thanks for being with me tonight. Like I said, Monday, we're going to get back on here, continuing through the Bible, reading live in 90 days. I'm reading Monday through Friday. Sorry, forgot the days of the week. So I'm reading Monday through Friday. I'm going through after everything throughout the day, usually around 9:30, 10. I'm hopping on here and just spending 45 minutes to an hour going through reading the Bible in 90 days. Today was day 38. I said we're going to start day 39 Monday. We're doing Rooted in Christ Monday. We have the Women's Overflow Monday. And then, like I said, later after all that's completed, around about 10 o'clock, I'll hop back on here and start reading Psalms. So God bless you and thank you. If you guys want to partner with what we're doing here, like everything we do is crowd funded through our Rooted in Christ. So if you enjoy the live stream, you want us to keep going, you want to keep doing that stuff, we appreciate you sewing in. It's Cash App, it's $, Rooted in Christ 73. So if you want to partner with us, we appreciate it. Everything helps. So other than that, like I said, I'll be back on here Monday. God bless you and have a great weekend.